Bert Buoy basically was a startup maybe about 5 years ago, where we had an opportunity to do a stand at a regatta in Dartmouth, and it's a place that I've held on a personal level, held a lot of love for over the last few years. And I set up a regatta stand. I'd been doing commercial illustration and ran a design agency for 15 plus years, and I always wanted an opportunity to define my own style a little bit more. And if I want to draw X, Y, or Z and illustrate something like that, I can do. And I set a stand up and produced some products that we could showcase at the regatta, and it sort of went from there really. This little pop up by the sea sort of progressed into a physical shop which we have now, and the shop we're in now, which was our first shop, is an old fishmonger's, which is very sort of fitting. I mean, basically we defined Bert and Buoy as being my style and Buoy being the coastal sort of reference, but we have this sort of strong strap line, the Nautical Niceness company, and that sort of stamp marks and defines every single product that we produce. It's nautical, but it's nice, and it's got a little edge to it, but it isn't chintzy or cliche. I was a big lover of fine products and papers and textiles and ceramics and materials, and this was an opportunity to sort of not just define a style, but an opportunity to embrace those materials and substrates and work up product lines that I felt could encapsulate my style, which is quite sort of bold and blocky. And promoting the business over the last few years, there's without doubt has been the physical store. I think I knew it would be important, and I thought it would help my design agency days. It would help what I'd always preached, which was the brand story and the tone of voice, and how we were going to ground the location and the inspiration behind it. I think everything's inspired by the wildlife and the rawness of Devon as a whole, and I can't help but to go for walks and be inspired by all the birds and everything I see, and for physicality, like the boats and the fishermen and the sailing clubs, etc. So that the location really defined it all. But promoting the business by having suddenly a location, you realise the old school characteristics of people knowing where you are, a repeat customer from a year later who turns up and you're still there, or people experiencing you and coming across you for the first time. But obviously the exceptional bolt-on we have now in the world we live in now is the fact that people then go on and can carry on shopping from you, even though they live in Essex. And that's the amazing thing. I think we always talk about how amazing online is, and we know that, but the physicality of a place and them coming across you really almost opens that door, and it also gives them an understanding, going back to what I mentioned about that they understand that that's where you've come from and what you've and it reminds them of that period when they went on that holiday or that weekend break and they came across you, and that sort of ownership to an independent brand that that everyone seems to have these days. So but I definitely think the physicality of the shop, but also there's no doubt we can't deny promotional aspects like Instagram and stuff like that has just been key. It's we can release something brand new and almost sell out on it just because we're promoting it on Instagram. Within Dartmouth, there's a real set of independent sort of shops, and we're really fortunate that like a lot of towns similar, certainly where they're located in a rural-ish location where people have to come, a destination location. And on that basis, everyone roots together regarding sort of, that we recognise that there's block periods when we're going to be super busy, during the summer, obviously, and Christmas. And Dartmouth's really good at defining defining sort of set zones. So we have a regatta here, we have a music festival, a food festival, and a sort of Christmassy candlelit, and those sort of almost calendar periods of sometimes a few weeks really help to define like busy periods. And as a group of independent shops and scenes, we all get together. I mean, it's quite nice as well, because although you sort of have, there's not many similar shops to each other. You know, there's nice independent foods, but they're quite different, and there's other types of gifts, and we're quite defined by the fact that we make everything ourselves. Since we've been open after the second lockdown, the reaction's been really similar to the first. Everyone's really embraced us. Dartmouth as a whole, just regarding the physical shop, our Dartmouth store, we have a lot of tourism, we have a lot of locals, second home ownerships, etc. And we find that those different groups of individuals all want to support us in their own way. They recognise the independent brands, and within the town really need supporting. So we're really fortunate in that way. It's been really thankful that we've had good staff here. We've got a great store assistant, Natalie, who works in our Dartmouth store, and she's been really on it and carved up and defined some really nice relationships with customers, which again, I think that's what a physical store lends itself. But even since we've opened online, obviously that's never changed. It's been a constant. But again, I think we find that having our store open, our physical store and our online store, and together they sort of chime, because we're able to do more photography in our store and maybe new products that have come through, and we sometimes can do sort of live videos of unboxing stuff in the store, but then people who follow us on social media or on our website can sort of see those aspects, and everything lends itself to it. So again, the physical store and the online presence really helps. But yeah, I mean, it's been amazing, and people have genuinely been excited to touch things again. You know, without sounding cliche, you know, there's a heart to them. You know, there is directly. I speak to some people whenever I cover the shop or do some artwork signings or something like this, and you know, people. First of all, you know, I get an absolute kick from knowing that they're about to, you know, put that piece of artwork up in their new apartment or their home, but you know, you have that relationship where they recognise that they're helping. You know, they're helping employ myself and the staff that they're seeing, and then buying into creativity, basically creativity, which rather than it being down a distant chain, they literally know that, you know, as of tomorrow I'm back in the studio screen printing, or you know, I'm overseeing some new woolen products or something like this. And I think that's what supporting independence is. I think people. And even if people are not too, you know, I come across customers who want to support, but they're not really very, whether it's hand screen printed or, you know, the textile is directly made 2 miles up the road, they might not be truly that concerned about that. You know, most people are, but I think, you know, we often hear about the same old story of like, you know, we love the fact that we walk around, you know, where our store is in Dartmouth, you know, and it's not your cliche set of shops. You know, we're not just in any town. They like the fact that they're going to see something different, and I think they recognise that, you know, they have to support that creativity. So I think we're just basically looking for something different, and we obviously offer that, you know. To find us, we're on social media. We're predominantly on Instagram, but we're on Twitter, and we're on Facebook, and and it all links through to our website. But Instagram is one of those sort of, like everyone, an area that we put a lot of emphasis and energy into. So you can find us at bertandboy.com as well as at Bert and Buoy. So that's our social media profiles.